101.9 Root FM.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WFM 99.9 is on now.
All righty, so good morning, SVG. We are back with you for another day for our Activated Mornings program here on WFM. In studio, you have Relisa Samuel. You're not to introduce yourself last. Let me do it properly. In studio, we have Deanna King and myself, Relisa Samuel, and we are joined by Miss Maxine Cabrall with us. She is here with us, and we are going to be talking about 17 months and a secret.
Good morning, Radio Land. Thank you guys
Good
for having
morning.
me.
All right, so 17 months and a secret. So before we get to what this secret is all about, or what this is all about, who is Miss Maxine Cabrall?
Well, Maxine Cabrall was born in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I moved to the U.S. as a teenager to meet my family.
You had to big up your village first. Big up your village first.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Sorry. Well, my family is from Bayaboo. That's my mother's side.
All right.
Ford. She was a nurse at the hospital there before she migrated. My dad is Stanley Primus. He was a cop, and I'm sure a lot of people may know that name. I have sisters, Desiree Primus, Cassandra Graham, and that's my people. So I'm always, excited to come back to St. Vincent. Each time I come back, I love it more and more and more.
We could understand.
Yes. And I just want to say before we get started, this is the very first radio interview that I am having about my book. So that makes this and you guys really special. Thank you again for having me.
You're very welcome. All right. So you said that you moved to the States. You moved to the States. So you can continue from there. Let us know a bit more of who you are. Uh-huh.
Yes, I reside in New York. For most of the years that I'm here as an adult, I've worked in an accounting department in corporate America. Right now, I've left that during the recession back in 2009 and went on to having a full-time daycare business. And that is what I have been doing for the last 20 something years or so. In addition to that, I am very dedicated to my church. I've been walking and living the Christian life for the last 26 years and excited. One. And I'm married, one son. And I was inspired to write this book, and here we are.
Okay.
Here we are.
Right, so let's talk about the inspiration to write the book. First of all, the name of the book is 17 Months and a Secret. And I have to say that when I heard that name, immediately I want to read this book because
yes. You're not alone. Well, the book is about my marriage mainly. However, because it's about my marriage does not mean that it's a book for only married people. It's a book where I speak about the struggles that my husband and I had throughout our now 19 years of marriage, how we were able to overcome, and through I'm not going to tell you the secret today. Because if I tell you what it is, then people have no reason to come to my book launch. They have no reason to buy the book. So I'm going to keep that suspense, okay? But let's say it was not your typical marriage struggle. And it is one that could have, destroyed me as a person, destroyed our marriage. It could have done a lot of things. But, through the grace of God, through much love and forgiveness and understanding and being a little more open-minded to the things that people struggle with, and the beliefs that I have, the values as a Christian, we were able to get through it. And so about 2 years ago, I kept feeling this nudge that I need to write a book. I needed to write a book. Sometimes you go through certain things and you don't understand why. And you're like, God, why me? Why me? And even when you know that what you did wasn't a mistake. You made the right decisions, but that's just life. But I realized as I went along, there was a purpose for whatever we went through. And that purpose was so that this book can come forth to help others. Like I said, 2 years now, I have been inspired to do it, and I didn't obey. And I just kept getting that nudge to the point where I was losing sleep, and as if God was saying, until you obey me, you're not going to get any rest, And so I started, and I wrote it, and what would have taken months, it took 7 weeks. And that's because it was already there, and it just had to come out on paper. And the reason I believe that God needed this book out is because it gave voice to a lot of people who are struggling with things that they cannot talk about because of guilt, because of shame, because they're worried about what is society going to say, what is my family going to say, what are my friends going to say. And so now that I've written this book and many have read it, they have someone now that they can relate to say, oh my gosh, this person actually wrote this. I mean, when you read the book, you're going to be like, what? Did she really put that in there? Did this, you're going to be in awe. That's the kind of book that it is. And most people who have read it, once they started, they did not put it down. So it's like a one-time shot read, and you're like, oh my goodness, it's that kind of a book. So it captivates you from the very beginning. And I want this book to really reach millions. I know it will in time. I'm confident of that. And the real purpose of it is for someone to know that, it was written in a way that is raw, it's authentic, it's vulnerable. I hardly held anything back. And it was written, we had to get to the point where we cannot be concerned with what people are going to think. It was more important for us to be obedient to the calling. And that is how this book came about. And let me just say, because last night I invited a gentleman and he told me, that sounds like a chick flick. This is a book for men and women, because the last time I checked, men were married too.
Okay? Right, I was actually going to ask, you're bringing the book from your vantage point as a woman, and I could already hear some men saying, "Oh, that's probably like an angry black woman who wrote this book."
All,
but do you think that men should also read it so they can have an understanding of when they do certain things, how it affects us as women?
Exactly. And my husband wrote a part in it. So it's really important that the men read it also, so they can hear from a man's perspective, because there were things I wrote that when my husband read it, he was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you think that way. I didn't know you feel that way. I didn't. So it really gives a level of understanding to anyone who reads the book, and then it's about love. It's about pain. It's about hurt. It's about feeling a sense of at times low self-esteem. It can touch so many different topics within our society. It's about, what are your religious beliefs? What are your values? How does the church deal with certain things or don't? In some cases. And as you read this book, you would realize that we were part of a church community and we had to deal with these struggles, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. But I realize now that we were being prepared. We were being prepared for today. For today. It took years, but go ahead.
Right. No. So I was going to say, I was actually curious about how your husband felt when you said that you were going to write this book? Because, you know, some man could be like, we don't move fast. I don't want business outside, you know. How did he actually feel about it?
So. When I got the inspiration, I'm glad you asked. When I got the inspiration to write this book, and I said to my husband, the first thing is that he knew we had to write the book, right? But at first he was not comfortable with it. So there was a little resistance. So I'm not going to fight with my husband over putting our business out there, because it's our business and it's out there. So I went to God. I said, God, if you want me to write this book, you have to speak to him. And I left it alone. Then one day we're sitting in our couch and my husband came next to me and he just started talking about the book. And he said, you know, when you start writing, you have to do it this way and make sure you send this mail and I'm like, hallelujah, praise the Lord. God has spoken, and that was it. I didn't have to fight because he knew that I had what it took to write the book. And he knew, because I even mentioned to him a couple of years ago, I said, I feel like I have a book in me. I need to write this book. And he said, go ahead and write the book. But we didn't know what the book was going to be about yet, but I know that the desire was there and God was just depositing whatever I needed to bring out, which is why it didn't take much for me to write it when the time came. And people were like, you finished that in what? And so that's how that came about. So my husband is at the point where, and we're not living in shame. We're not living in guilt. We're not embarrassed. We've been freed. We have been freed from all of that. And that is how we are able to get to this point. And if we look at many others who have made great impact in the world and in the lives of others, and even in the Bible, if you want to make the Bible a reference, and you look at what they went through, it is those persons who society would have cast out, who God used to do great things, whether it's in ministry, whether it's in a book, whether it's just a public speaker. They all have a story to tell. And in my book, I'm encouraging others, don't be ashamed to tell your story, because you are not the only one. When I wrote this book, I had to do a little research, and I was just amazed at, some of the things that I found. I was like, wow, we are not the only ones. And the world needs to know that they are not alone.
Okay. Indeed. And I always believe in telling your stories. So Ms. Mrs. Cabrall, we actually have like about 2 minutes left in this interview. But before we go though, could you let us know where the book launch is taking place and at what time, as well as for those who may not be here in SVG, where else can they find the book?
Okay.
Is it available for online purchase?
Yes. So the book is available on Amazon. It's available on Apple Book, Google Book, and a few others platforms. But Amazon, Apple, and Google mainly. Walmart, also Barnes and Nobles. In SVG, the book is available at I believe all 3 locations of the Careers pharmacies. I have a few there, but when I come down, I'll probably end up, bringing a few more. On Friday, June 20th. The book launch is going to be at 6 p.m. at the Peace Memorial Hall. It's 6 to 8:30, but you have to register. And I'm encouraging others, because I spoke to a couple of people who say, I'm coming, but I'm not seeing their registration. It's free. The refreshments are free. Books will be on sale. So I really need you guys to come out and support me. I want to meet you. I want to get to know you. I want to talk to you and just, register. My website, you can go to the website at maxinecabrall.org, O-R-G, not .com, .org, maxinecabrall.org, and you would see the bookmark that says Book Maxine, and right there's a registration info. Or you can send me an email, maxinecabrall@gmail.com, and just say, I will attend. And that's all you need. Just say, I will attend the book launch, maxinecabrall@gmail.com. or maxinecabrall.org, and you will see the form on the bookmark, Book Maxine, and just register. I'm so excited.
We are excited for you, because I think this is a book maybe all women in SVG need to buy.
I agree.
And men,
Well, and men as well. Yes, it's true. We gift it to the men as well. Yes.
I hope you guys are gonna come. Please register and come and be a part of it.
Yes.
To have you and meet you personally.
All right. So, Mrs. Cabral, we were so happy to have conducted this interview with you. We, of course, look forward to being there at the book signing. We, of course, look forward to reading your book as well. Yeah. And, of course, recommending it to others.
Please
all right.
Do. Please do. Thank you for having me. And you guys are wonderful. And have a wonderful day.
You're very welcome. Take care until we see soon.
Bye.
Bye. All right.